you today. And for today's topic, we're going to talk about when a dream becomes a nightmare. And Iris, let's talk about that when a dream becomes a nightmare.
The, the that dream that we want so much and the things that we want to do, whether it's, but there are different kinds of dreams, right? The dream, when we dream at night, and the dream of life. And when the dream of life, your desire or your relationship, that dream relationship, or that dream job becomes a nightmare. It becomes heavy. It becomes uh, disturbing, and a lot of time toxic. What
Mm,
do you do? How do you recognize it? Because a lot of time we don't recognize it, that it has become that, and we just trap in this dream, and we don't know how to get out because it keeps repeating. It's the cycle. It becomes the cycle of life.
yeah. And think about how interesting it is that we fall into that cycle. And like you
Mhm.
said, it's hard to recognize it, but then all of a sudden you see yourself change. You
Yeah,
see yourself kind of going away from your values.
exactly.
And that's how it becomes a nightmare, really, because you have this weird, but this is what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
And I'm finally here, but it's not what I expected. It's not where I wanted to be. I'm becoming somebody who I'm not sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And self-awareness. I think self-awareness is key to recognizing it. I think the key then is to come up with who do I want to be? There's
Uh-huh.
always, it is always okay to change for the better. And sometimes
Yes.
we become stagnant. I will say I have become stagnant in jobs. I have become maybe not so much in relationships per se, but I have gotten to a point in relationships where I'm like, this is not healthy. And I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely gotten to that place in jobs where I'm like, this is not it for me. And
Yeah.
I'm only doing it for what? And this is when I have to go back to my values. And then when I look at my values and I'm like, wow, maybe I'm only doing it for money. Maybe I'm only doing it because it's meeting this part of what I need. But there's just all these other values that I have that are not being met.
Exactly.
And that's why that's happened. Like that's suffering, right? Like when
That's
that dream
suffering.
becomes a nightmare, it becomes suffering.
Exactly.
And it's a matter of one, self-awareness, and then two, reminding yourself that you don't have to suffer, that it's okay to change.
That is beautiful. And that goes back to feeling, because we are so conditioned to feel certain way, and to normalize things that don't need to be normalized any longer, because we
Mhm,
keep living in survival mode, that we don't know how to get out of something, because the feeling that arises when you're making a change,
mhm.
when you allow yourself to give you permission to make that change, like you said, it's okay to change. You have to, we have to go through this bridge, because your survival mode is going to become erratic. I'm calling the erratic one at that
Yeah,
moment,
yeah.
because we are afraid to feel.
And we're
We
afraid to
are,
change.
we are afraid to change, because it
And
feels really bad when we need to, when it changes.
yeah, and it's okay to honor what you have. You had this goal, you made it, and now you feel this is not my place anymore. There's another change that I need to make. And it may be so far away from where I am now, but I feel that need to make it. It's okay to say, I honor the fact that I got here. I honor the fact that this relationship taught me all these X, Y, and Z, what the beautiful parts of this, whatever. But now it's not what I need, and I need to change out of it. It reminds me, and I know that you know how much I love this book, of the book The Alchemist.
Oh,
And
I
I
love that
know
book.
that book just touches me every time. But in that book, and I don't want to give it away for anybody who's in the middle of reading it or hasn't read it yet, but in the book, the boy starts working in this crystal shop, and he really takes this crystal shop from a little tiny shop on the top of a hill into this really bustling, a lot of business making shop and everything. And then all of a sudden he remembers his dream and he has this decision to make of staying where he's at or moving on to the next thing, right? And that part is just beautiful that he takes the steps, right? And I'm sorry if I gave it away. It's a very old book. So if you haven't read it, you should read it still. I didn't give away too much of it.
That's
But
good.
it's a beautiful part of realizing and saying, I learned so much here. I'm going to take all these lessons from this part of my life, all these lessons from this part of my life, all these lessons from this part of my life, but I'm going to continue to grow. And it's okay to let go of those things because now
Exactly.
I'm on the next chapter.
Exactly. And one thing before we close, sometimes it's not the dream that becomes too heavy. Sometimes it's the journey, changing how you're looking at it, how you go about it, making an assessment of what has been working and what is holding you back, stuck, repeating the same cycle. But sometimes, well, a lot of time, it's not the dream itself, it's how we want that dream to show up in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not only us, it's the people that are also impacted by the things that we do because we are not here alone. That's why we go by by two and sometimes by four in 100.
No, definitely. Remembering also that, sometimes in the middle of us, and we're not saying in the middle of you achieving a dream, things get tough. That's very different from it turning into a nightmare. I think turning a nightmare is when is that suffering, is that I
Exactly.
can't breathe. I'm going through the motions, but it's not.
Sadness,
Yeah,
this constant agony. This no, it's not supposed to be like that. It's
it's
supposed
not.
to be a little bit exciting,
Yeah.
even if you want to call it anxiety, but change it to exciting,
Uh-huh.
but not the what is the word that I'm looking for? Duplicating. Uh, what is the word that I'm looking for? Not damaging, not suffocating,
Yeah.
not
Not taking your life away.
exactly, not leaving
Yeah.
your energy less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. What about you guys? What do you think about this topic? I know it's a little bit of a heavy topic, but it's important to talk about it and to discuss. What dreams have you had that you've achieved and then all of a sudden it becomes a nightmare? And how have you gotten out of it? Please like, subscribe, share. Aris and I love doing these. And so thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Have an amazing day. Be good to yourself. Be good to your dreams. Remember, maybe it's not a dream, maybe it's how you're going about it.
It's very true.